Hi guys, how you na day? The guys here again today in Motorz. We have the ASUS Prime AP201 case in the house. If you look into the line of ASUS, that is, they have the ROG, they have the Prime, and they also have the TUF Gaming. This, as far as I can remember, is the first case from their lineup, and I'm gonna do justice to it today for you guys that love to see what is behind this case. So firstly, I'm gonna try to show you the case and open into all the components and see whatever we have inside, and after that we are going to see what kind of motherboard goes inside this case, or what kind of stuff you can use with this case. So firstly, let's do the first thing we usually do, and I welcome you all and thank you for those of you that are subscribed, and those of you that have not subscribed, I really love it if you can subscribe to help me grow the channel. So let's get on down with it. So this is the case, and as you can see, it's mesh all around, all the side including the back is all over the top, and under it is mesh everywhere. So it's going to be very good for cooling your system in whatever configuration you are using. But I guess you've seen a lot of different video out there that shows you what components and stuff like that, but you just want to see how to open the case, or you want to just see more about the case that is not being shown on the website. This is the real life scenario. I've had it for some days. I've checked it, I've built into it, and I've tested it, and I can tell you, I can assure you, this is a very great case to use. So let's get into the first thing, as I usually do. You need to open the front panel to be able to get into this case. And some of you have a case that is not being opened from under, or the front panel does not open, and you try to open it and you push too much force. So please don't push the case or pull the case with too much force to try to get into the front. It might not be opening from the front and you will just damage your case. But when you look under the case and you can see any opening, any space you can put your finger or your hand inside, it means it can be open in the front. So this one has one also, you can see down there. So I'm going to put the case back down. Remember, if you have a build in this case, if you have your component in this case, you should be very careful in carrying it so that it doesn't fall down, because it's going to get really pretty heavy. I'm going to talk about the size of the case later, but first thing, the things we usually do is how to get into it. Put your hand down, and there's a slot there, and hold the top so it doesn't fly away, and pull it out, and that is it. The front panel is open. And the good thing about this front panel, or this case actually, is the clips, which the hooks that holds them together, is actually made of metal, not the plastic stuff everybody is using. This is really a solid case. It's just pure metal all around. There's some few plastics in it, but it's not so much. So it's just pure metal, mesh metal, and the clips, don't worry about them getting broken, because it's going to be there. The good thing about this, which is they included some of these clips inside here. They have only those two, so if you break it, you're gonna have, because there's more than two around the case, so if you break it, you guys have to get it some way, one way or the other. We'll find a solution to that later. And now the side panel. To open the side panel, you need to, there's a slot in the back also where you can put your finger, just push it out. It's very easy. So it's not totally toolless, because there are some places you need your screwdriver to go into or to get into. We'll get to that when we get to that. So the side panel, and before you start asking me the questions, the side panels are easy removed. Are these side panels interchangeable? Yes, you can actually put any of them in either way, in front and the back, because they are both the same design. Everything is the same, at the exception of the logo that is being printed in this side here, ASUS Prime case, except that logo, which this one is actually at the back, but you can also use it in the front if you want to. It's just insert and clip, and that's all. So pure metal, no mesh on it, no filter on it, sorry, no filter on it. So there's mesh but no filter on it. So these are the panels for the side. I'm gonna put them away on one side. Now the top, you can actually remove the top also. That's the good thing about it. So building into this case has been made really simple. Just pull it from the back here. Oh, sorry, that's the front. From the back here, bring and come up. You see, you bring and come up, not with too force, so not with too much power. Just bring and come up, and that opens all over again. So I think they've really done a very great job into making up this case and preparing this case for use for any scenario. So under it actually also there is the mesh magnetically put there. You can also remove it, but unfortunately this is just a magnetic mesh and the only mesh in this case. You can create your own mesh if you want, and under is also there, so you can't get through from under, but this under has its own job that you can use it for. So that is just the only package you have on it. I'm gonna put this case aside, and you have this bag with the manuals and every other stuff inside. Yeah, they are all there, which you don't need to worry too much about it. And there's a bag that contains 2 bags of screw, zip ties, and the 2 clip I told you that is being included. So there are just only 2 of them. So if you can do, if you're good at CNC printing, you can just print some out. Probably we should think about doing that, printing out and selling for people that breaks theirs and they need to get one. So you have a bag for the offstand, for the motherboard offstand, and you have another bag which contains these screws. This one is the one we really need to talk about before we get to that place. There's this bag with these rubber tips and these long screws. We will come back to it when we get there, but do not forget, they are very important. These are for your hard drives. We'll come back to them when we need to talk about them, and later I'll show you a video about it. So I'm gonna put that one aside and we'll get back to our case. Now, this is the case. This is the empty case. They have this channel for cable management. It might be useful for you, and I think it's going to be useful definitely. So you just have to manage your cable between that. And the front here we have the IOs, we have the USB A, the earphone input and output, USB-C, and the power button. There's no reset button, but around the power button there's an RGB, I don't think it's RGB, it's just an LED light that comes on when it is being power up. It glows. I forgot, I think it's just white, but we'll find out later, don't worry. So, and behind it, it's just there. They hold it to the ground from the front here, which you can basically remove. Why do you need to remove it? We'll talk about that later. If you need to remove this, you can remove it in case you need to spray it. You want to change the color or whatever you want to do, you can surely remove that. So that is what we have there. If you look at the case from the here, you start wondering where does the power supply goes. This power supply goes in front, so that is why we have the power supply cage. This is where we need our screwdrivers. We have the power supply cage in front here. We have the power supply cage in front here, which is just a white one, and there's black version of this case because it comes in black and white. So you have this. One thing I like to talk to you about this cage is a full-size ATX power supply cage. If you have a gigantic power supply like this one that is much longer, it fits in the case perfectly, and it holds it, and anyone below this length would definitely work, and maybe the normal power supply is going to be just the same size with the cage, so you don't need to worry about what kind of power supply you want to use. Basically, in this cage or in this case, if you want to use it, you probably will be using the same component from your old system if you have ATI, ITX motherboard or MATI motherboard. But if you have the ATI motherboard, it doesn't work with this case. I'm going to show you later. It works if you can do a DIY, which is going to take a long time for you to bring it into the level of this case. So, but I will not advise it unless you are interested in molding this case into whatever you want. But I will talk about the size later, so before you start thinking of doing that, you should just consider all the factors you go through. So this side panel here is removable. There are 4 screws holding them together. So the screws are basically almost the same size, so you don't need to worry about misplacing them. Basically, for you to be able to work mostly in front of this case, you need to remove this panel, and you're gonna free a lot of space to be able to work there. So it comes out just like that. So it comes out just like that. I can, you know, imagine a lot of things I can do with this case, with this part of the case. If I really want to go into molding, you can give it your own character and make it look the way you want it to look. But it's nice that it's removable, and it makes the cage much wider. But it's just used to hide the power supply and the hard drive. So I'm gonna put this one away. And basically, it comes with pre-included one fan. Pre-included. It's just 3-pin fan. It's not 4-pin, so it's not PW. It's just 3-pin. So you can change it if you want. It's a great fan. It's not too noisy. It's not too quiet either. It's just so. Yeah, so. So that is basically everything you can remove in this chassis. But there's one funny thing, like I said, if you are trying to invert your motherboard and you're just thinking, can I do that? Yes, you can, but it's not just a matter of using your screwdriver. There's a rivet here, you remove them, which they are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You remove them. When you remove them, you will be able to have just only this, and you can move it to the other side. That means you have a lot of work to do at the back. But like I said, we're not doing molding now. We're just going to talk about how good the case is and what you need to know about it. So that is just the only thing we're going to do. So that is everything about the case. It's solid metal. The only plastic, like I said, it's just something here in the front, and the clips that you use to hold it, those are the only plastic, and the fit, which is really very nice. You know, it's kind of like different from other fits. So those are the only plastic you can find on this mesh case, so which makes it really very great. So motherboard, the motherboards that can go in this is just going to be M-ATX motherboard, that is the micro motherboards, ITX motherboard. ATX motherboard will go in, but it's not gonna fit. It's gonna be too tall, and the side for the connector in the back is not gonna fit. So they didn't advertise it as an ATX case. They said it's a small case. Small case in the sense that for small components like the motherboard, but every other component is big. The graphics card is going to work pretty very fine. If you have a huge graphics card, you can see there's still enough space on this side. Even though the power supply is here, there's still going to be enough space there. If you are going to be going with a smaller one, indeed, which is really great also. I don't really have a bigger or beefier graphics card with me, but you can see that if you have it even a little bit beefier, it's gonna work in this case. The reason why I love this kind of case is I like micro or M-ATX case, but they don't really build any solid one. They just make them simple, and you know, this I/O they build in the back, I really dislike those ones for the olden days for printers and stuff like that. I think the new ones or the new motherboards are getting better now. I don't really have enough motherboard. I have just one ATX, one Micro-ATX, and one ITX motherboard with me here. There's a lot of cash getting those motherboards, so I don't have them here. Back to it. So like I said, you can use 2 foreign factors of motherboard. The third one is not allowed. It's allowed if you want to do molding. And the power supply, which I said has 3 stages. The first stage is the one on top here, and the second stage is here, and the third stage is here. So it means inside, it reduces the space you have under here as you move it up and down. The space is reduces, so you can see it reduces the space. So I have a vision for you, which you can see. And if you have that, that is, oh, before I forget, let's talk about hard drives. You can have 3 of these inside this case, and basically if you are using only SSDs or 2.5 SSDs or HDD or whatever, the spinning drive or the SSD drive, you can have 4 of these inside this case. But if you're just using only these, you can only have 3 of it inside this case, and you can support it with the smaller version of it. But if you want, I don't know, for any reason you want to have as much as possible drives, spinning drives and SSDs combined together, you can get 2 of these, or 3 of these, 1 of these. As you know, that is the M.2 or the M.0 drive are the ones used to power your motherboard now, because you can insert it on your motherboard, there's space for it. So that one can run your operating systems, and you can have 3 of these for backups as big as you want them to go, terabytes, megabyte, you can have them for backup. And you can have this one for running some of your programs, which you can use there. So where does that go? Behind here is the only thing that can go behind here is they have this cage here that only supports just the 2.5 drives, whether being the spinning one or the SSDs. That is can go back there. So that is 1. And here, like I said, there's a reason there are these holes under here, and if you look, there's another one in front here. These are not for fans, these are for your drives. One of these can go in front here. Let me put it this way. One of these can go in front here. I think I have something over. And another one can go here. You can have one here, one basically beside it, and your SSD can come here. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can have it. Oh, I think it goes like this. Yep, basically like this. And your SSDs can come onto any of this side here. Another configuration is you can have that there and this here, and your SSDs can be here. That's another configuration you can use. I don't know if you're seeing it. So, and you can also have 1, 2, 3 of the bigger drives there. I only have 2 drives I can show you. You can have 3 of them here, and or you can just have everything being SSD, 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 SSD behind. So giving you a total of 4 SSD. And something I'd like to show you in case you're wondering how to mount them. If you look very well under here, they have H and X written all over those O's. They have H as in H and S as in snake written all over the O's. So what does that mean? It basically means the S, maybe it means small, a drive. I don't know, but because the other one is H, it means HDD. I believe that is why they said H. So X will be SDD, solid SSD, solid state drive. H will be hard disk, hard drive. Why did they call it HDD? Hard disk drive. Yeah, hard disk drive. So they have H and X written all over. So what you need to do, that is where this pins now comes in. What you need to do is this rubber grommet goes inside one of those O's. You just push it inside. It has a tip that can make it lock inside. You push it inside just like that. So I'm pushing it into the H version, and you have another one for the H here and another one here. Here. Okay, those are 4, and the screws can now go in. So I'm gonna give you a live demonstration here. I hope it doesn't take time for me to do it, so we don't make the video unnecessarily longer. And they drive as those O's there. So I'm gonna put in the first one, because this is just gonna be sideways like this in the other side, while this is gonna go this way in the other side. So I'm gonna lock this one in. Oh, I can't see very well. Sorry guys, it's difficult to work like this. Just for the sake of the video. Okay. Okay, so that is how you get a drive into the cage. For those of you interested in having more drives, this is how you get it into the cage. So then we have that over there, which goes into the cage. But something I would like to advise you is you should connect your SATA cable and everything before you start closing up all this side. And the same thing goes into the front in case I'm trying to use the hard drive also in the front, your SSD in the front. There's no way to put your fan in front here unless you're gonna DIY it. There's no space for your fan here. So what I need to do now is this H here, I'm gonna put one other more. And the fact is, this case could actually give you a lot of rooms if you want to have more drives in your system. This case will give you the opportunity to have more drives in your system, because you can, if you can get like this is just 2 terabytes. If you can get like 8 terabytes, then you have enough space to run your to run your drives. So that is just one lovely thing about this case. Okay, this is just for people that are really interested in this. Like I said, I've used it, I've tested, I've run some tests on it. The thermals is really very good. It supports your system. You don't have to worry about it over getting hot or whatever. It's just enough airflow. If you put your computer in a place that receives enough air, you don't have to worry about that. basically I'm almost building the system, but I'm just trying to show my fellow people how to insert your drives. So you see, we got the 2 drives there. They ain't moving, they ain't going anywhere. So this is in real life. So I'm gonna mount the SSD. So in case you're interested in seeing how that works, yeah, you see S is there. I'm just, because the numbers are there, they are just easier for me to find where to put a rubber granite. If I have an HDD, I will have used it, but I don't have more than 2, which I bought for myself to do videos like this. So I don't mind if anyone is like Western Digital or whatever. If you have one to spare to give me, I'm just asking you guys, just send me some. I can just use them here. And you can be a sponsor of any of the videos. I don't know. So guys, I'm just trying to show you guys this one so I don't have to get billions of questions on how they work. So that's why I'm doing something I think you might find a little bit difficult to understand if you have the case or if you're thinking about buying the case. I'm just trying to showcase what drives and stuff this case can take. Oh, whoops. The rubber holds them right into place. So there's no movement or any friction between the cases. So there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see it. And there's something I need to tell you before we start going. If you look down here, you can, even though you have this mounted here, if you can connect your SATA cable and every other thing, that is, if you have the L-shaped SATA cable connector, you can still get to put a fan. You still got to put a fan down here. So you still get to put one fan down here, not just putting it or sticking it. You can actually screw it to there. Fan screw. One moment, guys. I'm back. So I'm not just talking about just putting the fan there. There's actually a place for you to put fans there. So you can imagine how wonderful this case is. So that brings us to fans. You see, you can actually, there are holes for you to mount your fans into this case. I'm not joking. You can see how wonderful this is. If you need the fan cooling to bring you, because the feet are really elevated, there's a space for you to get fresh air from under the case. So you can actually install 1 or 2 fan. If you are installing 2 fan, you are going to lose the ability to put 1 drive there. That is, if you want to put 2 fans, you're gonna lose. If you're using SSDs, you'll be able to have the fan included here. But if you're using the hard drives, the fans would not be able to go in. You can use 2 fans because they have space for 2 fans. So it means you will not be able to use this space for any of the drives, just fans. But if you want to just have the smaller SSDs here, you can actually have it here and still be able to install 1 fan, or you have just 2 drives on this side and you have 2 more fans on this side. It depends on what is your priority. So you can actually look and see, you can actually install a fan. I'm not bragging, it's just, you see, it fits. You can actually install because they've made holes for your fans to go in. You can see, you don't need to drill them or try to make holes by yourself. ASUS has been so kind enough to give you the room to install fans. Now this now take us to the next part. How many fans can actually be installed in this case? Like I said, one is pre-installed that comes with a case. You get that one with the case. And mind you, this case is under 100 euro. So for a case with USB-C, which I really love because of nowadays everybody has a USB-C connector, you can easily get one there without having to come to the back of your motherboard. You can actually have fans, 140 fans, 2 can actually go on top. When I say on top, I mean from inside, not from outside. You can have 2 on top here. In either way, in whether you're trying, sorry about that, whether you're trying to suck air in or take air out, whichever way you're trying to do or trying to use it, you can have 2 140 millimeter fans from the top. And it's something I find out I would love to share with you. I'm gonna push this backward because when I push it backward, it does not disturb your motherboard. It still works fine. And I'm gonna put this one in either way, whether you want it to be exhaust or for intake. So I'm gonna like, one is for intake, one is for exhaust. Whatever way you wanna put it, it suits you. The reason why depends on you. Why? Because you know what you want, where you want to get your hair into. But I will actually use this for exhaust and use the down one for intake, and probably the front one for intake also. And this way I got enough air going in, and the back one and the back fans can exhaust for me. Now look at this, either in or out, out or in or whatever. I put 140 fans on top here, 140 fans down here. Only 2 140 fans can be installed on top, and you can have 3 120 fans installed on top. That means with 120 fans you can have a total of 6 fans if you remove this, but if you're using that, you can have a total of 5 fans. With 140 you can only have 2 140 on top and 1 exhaust which comes with it, and 2 down, making a total of 5. But now I try with 140 and this. If you have 2 140 and 1 120, you can actually get one. Check this out. You can actually install 1 120 fans in the middle. That is the tip I'm trying to give you, for you to have enough fans. In the middle of the 2 140, there's enough space for the 120 millimeter fans, and you can actually install it. I'm gonna install it. And wait, come on. What? Okay. Without any struggle, there is enough space for you. Come on, I gotta show guys this. My screwdriver is really, really small. You see, I'm gonna use 2 screws. So for the sake of not making this video too long, I'm gonna use 2 screws. Oh shit! I really need a better magnetic screwdriver. These screwdrivers I have, they really don't work. Look at that. Now I have 3 fans here, and 2 are 140, much hair dragging in and going out, and 120 in the middle. So we have a total of 3 fans on top, including 2 140, and now we have more fans, guys, more fans. So that is just a tip I want to give you if you're interested in it. It does not affect or disturb your motherboard. I'm gonna bring a small motherboard here because I have one with me here. I'm gonna bring a small motherboard here. See, if you have your motherboard sitting down there, it does not. It doesn't. It totally doesn't disturbs your motherboard. You have your motherboard right down there. You have your motherboard right down there doing its own thing with enough space. Whether you're using a Micro-ATX, that is M-ATX motherboard, or ITX motherboard, you have enough clearance for these guys to actually sit in this space without any trouble. I'm using 2 screws, don't worry, it's not gonna fall off. Look at that, look at enough space to even pass your cable. That brings me into water cooling. It's liquid cooling. Water cooling, liquid cooling. You can put water cooling here, which needs you to arrange it very well. Liquid cooler, that is the radiator, including the radiator and the fan, will go perfectly fine into this case. There's enough clearance for it to work and you have no problem. Oh, one thing I forgot about the hard drive, the power supply. If you're using a power supply really, you know, the one that is really big, like this, you are out of luck with using this drive. I'm just gonna show you very quickly. So you need to look for a better compatible power supply, which is the normal one, not this longer one or longer version if you don't have one. If you have this kind of intruder coming outside, it's not gonna work. Even though you are on the top edge, it's not gonna work. You are not gonna be able to use a power supply as longer this with your hard drive being there. So you need a smaller power supply. So I need to just tell you about that. So guys, that is mostly about this case, and to me it's worth the money. It's a nice case. It's so damn matter. This can go back in here, closing out, closing out the side. When you close it, you basically, nothing can be seen. Oh, come on. You see, it blocks, you won't be able to see the power supply, the drive and everything. Why would you bother about that if it's just a match all over a case? I will tell you, I will show you actually in one of my build after we finish talking. I'm going to show you a build I have, and this one was being changed by me to something else. And check this out. You don't need to carry out the system to get your filter back inside. Just slide it under and bring it up. And then it's magnetic. The top one, you key it in because there's this hook. You key it in, push it down, and it's locked. The front panel also is very easy. Just hold it to the front and don't worry about breaking anything because there's really nothing much to break that is going to give you a lot of wahala. Just push it inside. No too much wahala on that aspect. So let me just hold this down so it doesn't move around. I'm going to use one screw. Later I'm going to show you something else that you really love to see. So, like I said, the front panel, you can use, this is the normal one that comes in the box. For the cable management, you can just wrap every damn thing you have into here because it comes with a zip tie. You can just zip tie everything together and you have a lovely case. I still have the hard drive bay outside. I'm gonna put it back inside, and I will love to give you a preview of one or two design with a system fully loaded and running. Conclusion: at around 90 something, less than $100. For me, I believe this case is nice. It worth the price. And there was something I said I was going to compare to show you if you're going to do comparison. So I'm going to bring out one of my lovely case. This is the case I've been using for quite a long time. Yeah, this is the case. This is from Corsair. I've been using it for quite some long time. You can see this is taller than this, but actually the truth of the matter is they are the same size of case. You're gonna ask me why. This is not very tall, but it is pretty long. If you put them side by side, I have a footage showing them side by side. If you put them side by side, bam, basically they are the same size. And if you put this one down and you put this one down, you can find out, boom, just only the front is longer. So they are basically the same height, at the exception of the rubber plate down there. If you turn it upside down like this, then you can see it's shorter, but the length is the same. So that is just that for you to know. And the good thing about the Corsair case is that the Corsair case can take ATI's motherboard. Not just, it can take all the foreign ATS, MATX, ITX motherboard. Everything goes into this case. And it has a glass panel. I'm not saying this is not a great case. This restricts a lot of airflow when you compare the temperature. This is an upgrade to that. And I have another system which I'm using, which is the Fractal design. And you can see almost the same height. The only difference is just the length. That's all. But this is ITS mother small foreign factor case, so I cannot compare them together, which that is really very expensive. But you know, MATS case is not really a lot of them out there, and if you're into the MATS motherboard like me, which I like them a lot, but unfortunately I couldn't get the one I liked. You know, some things are missing from it. And I think the new ones are going to be okay. The 7, that is the 6 and the 700 series. And for Intel also, I think I'll look into getting one of that if I can get one. So guys, that is it from me. If you get any question, if you have any question where you want me to answer about this case, and something where I never talk about, anything I've not said or I've not talked about, you want me to talk about, just drop out for the comment down there, and me go exchange. I will talk to you. You know, drop whatever you have for me in the comment down there, and I will reply to it. And for those of you that have not subscribed, I would love you to subscribe, and I would love to see you in the next time. And I wish you best of luck. Adios. Adios, Bawu. Odabo. See you guys later. And check out the full build. Bye bye.